Welcome to Monk's Temple. Find a place where you can be comfortable. You might be sitting, or you might be lying down. It doesn't matter. Let your eyes close, if that feels right. Or let your gaze soften, resting on nothing in particular. We're not here to acquire anything new tonight. We're here to remember something ancient and quiet that already lives within the rhythm of your breath. For a moment, just listen to the sound of your own breathing. Not trying to change it. Not trying to make it deeper or slower. Just noticing the gentle rise and the gentle fall. There is a letting go happening here with every exhale. The body knows how to do this. The mind, well, the mind often forgets. We tell ourselves a story about strength. It's a story of gritted teeth, of firm plans, of hands held tightly on the reins. We believe that if we can just foresee every bump in the road, if we can just steer skillfully enough, we will arrive safely at our destination. This feels like wisdom. It feels like responsibility. But I want to tell you a different story tonight. A story not about holding on, but about the profound, often terrifying, always liberating act of letting go. It's a story that begins not with me, but with a memory from many years ago, in a very different place. I was walking along a rocky coastline, the kind where the ocean has spent centuries sculpting the stone. The wind was fierce that day, pulling at my clothes, and the waves weren't large, but they were persistent, crashing against the shore with a steady, grinding force. In a tidal pool, trapped between two rocks, I saw a leaf. It was a simple, autumn oak leaf, brown and brittle. Every time a new wave washed into the pool, the leaf would be seized by the water. It would thrash and spin, slamming against the jagged edges of one rock, then being dragged frantically to smash against the other. It was a frantic, desperate dance. The leaf was fighting the water with every fiber of its being, and the water, of course, was winning. It was being torn apart, piece by tiny piece. I watched this for a long time. And then, a larger wave came. It didn't just wash into the pool, it washed over the lower of the two rocks. For a second, the leaf was lifted, not by its own effort, but by the sheer volume of the ocean's movement. And in that lift, it was carried just over the rim of the stone that had been its prison. It was suddenly free in the open channel between the rocks. And what did it do? Nothing. It stopped fighting. It simply lay flat upon the surface of the retreating wave. And as the water pulled back to the sea, it carried the leaf with it, gently, effortlessly, out into the deep, wide water where there were no rocks to crash against. The leaf didn't find freedom by struggling harder. It found freedom the moment it stopped resisting the current that was already moving. Its struggle was what kept it trapped. Its surrender was what carried it home. Isn't that so much of our suffering? We are that leaf in the tidal pool. We see the rocks, our problems, our fears, our obstacles, and we believe with all our hearts that our safety, our very survival, depends on fighting the current. On pushing, on planning, on straining to stay in one place or get to another. We call this control. Buddhism has another name for it. It calls it attachment. And it teaches that this clinging, this desperate gripping, is the very engine of our pain. Not the rocks. Not the water. But our insistence on fighting a force infinitely larger than our small, brittle selves. If this is speaking to a place inside you that feels weary of the struggle, that recognizes the exhausting dance, then you are in the right place. Consider this your invitation to a different way. If you're ready to explore the peace that comes not from dominating the wave, but from learning how to rest upon it, then subscribe to Monk's Temple. Hit that button, and join our community. It's a gentle reminder, a little bell, to return here whenever you need to remember you don't have to fight the current. Let's begin to unpack this, not as a philosophy to be debated, but as a truth to be felt in the bones. We build our lives around certain pillars. The pillar of our career. The pillar of our relationships. The pillar of our health. The pillar of our reputation. We work tirelessly to make these pillars strong, straight, and immovable. We polish them. We reinforce them. We stand back and admire the sturdy structure of the life we have built. It feels solid. It feels safe. Then, one day, there is a tremor. Perhaps a small one, a missed promotion, a friend's careless word, a strange, fleeting pain in the body. Or perhaps a large one, a loss, a betrayal, a diagnosis. And we feel it immediately, a deep, visceral shudder in the foundation. The pillars we relied upon, they vibrate. They groan. And our entire being goes into a state of high alert. What do? We rush to the pillars. We push against them, trying to steady them with our own strength. We bring more cement, more steel, more effort. We brace ourselves against them, muscles taut, breath held, trying to force them back to perfect, motionless stability. We believe this bracing, this frantic reinforcement, is strength. We call it handling it. We call it being responsible. But what is really happening? The tremor is not the problem. The tremor is simply life. Life is movement. Life is change. The problem is our belief that the pillars should not move. Our suffering is the immense, exhausting strain of trying to hold a dynamic, living, breathing universe in a fixed and frozen pose. Buddhism teaches anicca, impermanence. It is not a poetic idea about leaves falling. It is the fundamental operating system of reality. Everything that arises will pass away. Every beginning contains an end. Every meeting implies a parting. Your body, as you sit here now, is not the same body you had 7 years ago. Every cell has been replaced. The thoughts you had this morning have dissolved. The feeling you carried from yesterday has shifted. To expect anything in this world to be permanent is to stand on the shore and command the tide to stop. You can command it with all your might. You can build walls against it. But the water will find a way. And you will be left exhausted, angry, and alone, shouting at the ocean. The control we crave is an attempt to deny this basic truth. We want the promotion to be a permanent step up. We want the love we feel today to be a guarantee for all tomorrows. We want our vitality to be a forever possession. And when life, in its gentle or its fierce wisdom, reminds us that nothing is given forever, we experience it as a personal failure. We think, I didn't brace well enough. I didn't plan well enough. My pillars were flawed. So we tighten our grip. We make more lists. We have more difficult conversations trying to secure promises. We monitor our health with anxious vigilance. The architecture of our life becomes less a home and more a fortress, and we are the lone guard, pacing the walls, seeing threats in every shadow. This is the architecture of anxiety. It is built not from wood and stone, but from fear and resistance. I knew a man once, a master carpenter. He could craft the most beautiful, intricate joints, dovetails so precise they seemed to grow together. He built a house for his family, a perfect testament to his skill. But he was terrified of termites, of rot, of a shifting foundation. He spent his weekends not with his children, but under the house, adding new supports. He coated every beam in harsh chemicals. He installed a complex system of moisture sensors and alarms. The house became impenetrable, and utterly unlived in. It was a museum of fear. The family moved softly, afraid to scratch a floor he had polished to a military sheen. The joy, the spontaneity, the lived-in messiness of a home, it all vanished. He had controlled the structure into a cold, sterile cage. He protected the house from life, and in doing so, he made it dead. This is what we do. We are so afraid of the tremor, of the termite, of the slow inevitable weathering of all things, that we miss the life happening within the walls. We are so busy being the guard that we forget to be the inhabitant. Let me offer you a different metaphor. Picture a river. A wide, powerful, ancient river. It has flowed for millennia. It has a current, a direction, an intelligence of its own. It goes around mountains. It carves through plains. It nourishes everything along its banks. Now, picture a large rock in the middle of that river. A stubborn, solid, immovable rock. The river hits the rock. What happens? The water does not stop. It does not argue. It does not try to destroy the rock in one furious impact. It simply flows. It parts. Some water goes to the left of the rock. Some goes to the right. It moves over the rock, and under it, and around it. Over days, years, centuries, the persistent, gentle, relentless flow of the water will wear the rock smooth. It may even, in time, break it down into sand and carry it silently away. The river's power is not in its hardness, but in its fluidity. Its strength is its ability to yield, to adapt, to find the path of least resistance, which is, paradoxically, the path of greatest power. You are not the rock. You have been taught to be the rock. To stand firm. To hold your ground. To resist. Don't let them push you around. Stand up for yourself. Be strong. This rock-like identity feels powerful. But in the constant flow of life, the flow of other people's wills, of unexpected events, of time itself, what happens to the rock? It is in a state of perpetual collision. It is always being hit, always under pressure. It may stand, but it suffers every impact. It becomes worn, stressed, fractured. What if you are the river? Buddhism invites you to discover your river nature. Your true nature is not solid, separate, and defensive. It is fluid, connected, and intelligent. The river mind does not meet an obstacle and declare war. It meets an obstacle and senses. It feels the contours of the problem. It finds the spaces. It adapts its course without losing its essential direction, which is simply to flow toward greater openness, greater understanding, greater love. The rock says, "This must go my way." The river says, "I will find a way." The rock's strength is brittle. The river's strength is supple. In a storm, which would you rather be? The rigid oak tree that snaps in the hurricane, or the bamboo that bends to the ground and then springs back, unharmed. This shift from rock to river is the essence of letting go. It is not becoming passive. A river is incredibly active. It is constantly moving, shaping, creating, nourishing. But its action is not born from desperation. It is born from a deep alignment with the nature of things. It does not force its path, it discovers its path, moment by moment. I remember a woman who came to a retreat, her life a catalogue of forceful action. She ran a company, a household, her children's schedules, her husband's social calendar. She was the quintessential rock, and a deeply cracked one. She spoke of constant migraines, of a jaw so tight she cracked a tooth in her sleep. Her mantra was, "If I don't do it, it won't get done right." One afternoon, during a walking meditation, it began to rain. Not a storm, but a soft, persistent drizzle. The schedule said we were to walk for 30 more minutes. Everyone else hurried back to the hall. But she just stopped. She stood there in the middle of the path, and she let the rain fall on her. She later told me that in that moment, a thought arose, clear and quiet, "I cannot control this." It wasn't a thought of defeat. It was a fact. She could not stop the rain. All her willpower, all her lists, all her force of personality, meant nothing to the sky. And instead of bracing against it, she did something extraordinary. She unzipped her light jacket. She let the rain touch her skin. She felt its coolness. She smelled the wet earth. And she started walking again, not to get out of the rain, but to be in it. For the first time in decades, she was not fighting a condition she didn't like. She was participating in the reality that was present. She was being the river, feeling the rain become part of her flow. The migraine that had been building behind her eyes that day, it just dissolved. Washed away. Not by her control, but by her cessation of it. We think of letting go as a loss. An emptying. A defeat. We imagine opening our hands and watching something precious fall through our fingers, lost forever. So we clutch. We squeeze. We make a tight fist, believing this is how we keep what we love safe. I want you to try a small experiment. If you can, in your mind's eye, or even physically if you wish. Imagine you have a handful of dry, fine sand. Now, close your hand. Make a tight fist. Squeeze as hard as you can. Feel the pressure in your knuckles, the strain in your forearm. You are holding on with all your might. Now, ask yourself, how much of the sand are you actually holding? And how much are you crushing? How much is being forced out through the tiny gaps between your fingers because of the very pressure you are applying? Now, slowly, gently, open your hand. Let it relax. Let your palm lie open, soft, receptive. Look at the sand. It is all there. It is resting. It is contained not by force, but by the gentle, cupped shape of your acceptance. You can see each grain. You can appreciate its texture. And if a breeze comes, yes, a few grains may drift away. But the majority remains, at peace. And your hand is not aching. It is at peace, too. This is the paradox of clinging. The tighter we grip, the more we lose. We lose the thing itself, because we distort it with our demands. We lose our peace in the effort of holding. And we lose the ability to truly appreciate what we have, because our entire focus is on the terrifying prospect of its loss. Buddha taught that the root of suffering is tanha, often translated as craving or thirst. It's that desperate, burning need for things to be a certain way, for certain feelings to stay, for certain feelings to go. It is the mental fist, clenched around experience. We clutch at pleasure, trying to make it permanent, and in the clutching, we spoil its fragile beauty. We clutch at people, trying to fix them in roles that suit us, and in the clutching, we suffocate their spirit. We clutch at our own self-image, and in the clutching, we become rigid, fragile, and afraid. Letting go is not dropping the sand on the ground. It is the gentle opening of the hand. It is shifting from a posture of grasping to a posture of holding. And what a difference! Grasping is desperate, needy, fearful. It says, "You are mine." Holding is respectful, grateful, loving. It says, "You are here with me, for now." One is a prison. The other is a sanctuary. Think of the things you are clutching right now. A grievance. A dream of how your life should look. A need for someone to apologize. A fear of looking foolish. Feel the tension of that clutch in your body. In your shoulders. In your belly. Now, imagine, just for a breath, softening that grip. Not abandoning the thing, but holding it more lightly. You are not saying it doesn't matter. You are changing your relationship to it. You are giving it space, and in doing so, giving yourself space to breathe. A student of mine was a brilliant musician, a pianist. He had mastered pieces of tremendous technical difficulty. But he could never lose himself in the music. His performances were flawless, and utterly cold. He came to me in despair. "I can control every note," he said, "but I cannot find the joy." I asked him to describe how he practiced. It was a regime of military precision. Metronome. Slow, deliberate, isolated repetition of passages. A focus on error elimination. He was clutching each note, terrified of a mistake. His hand was a tight fist on the keyboard. I gave him a seemingly silly instruction. For 1 week, he was to spend 15 minutes each day not playing the piano, but playing with the piano. No pieces. No goals. Just to sit, and let his fingers wander. To find a cluster of notes that sounded ugly, and sit with them. To strike a key and listen to the sound until it faded completely into silence. To play a simple melody with his eyes closed, and deliberately introduce a wrong note, and then just continue. He resisted fiercely. It felt like a waste of time. But he did it. The first few days were agony. Then, something broke. He found himself laughing at the discordant sounds. He discovered a little ripple of notes that sounded like rain. He wasn't controlling the music, he was listening to it, following it. He was opening his hand. The next time he approached his rigorous piece, something had changed. He still knew every note. But he was no longer clutching them. He was holding them, lightly. And the music, it began to breathe. It had space. It had emotion. The technique was still there, perfect and supportive, but it was now in service to something larger than control. It was in service to the flow. He found his joy not by trying to capture it, but by letting go of everything that was blocking its path. We live in a culture obsessed with manufacturing outcomes. We are taught to set a goal, break it down into steps, execute with discipline, and claim our prize. This works wonderfully for building a shelf or filing your taxes. But it is a terrible way to approach a living system. You cannot execute a relationship into intimacy. You cannot goal set your way into inner peace. You cannot manufacture wisdom. Life is not a factory floor. It is a garden. Think of a gardener. A wise gardener does not stand over a seed he has planted and command, grow now, to this exact height, by Tuesday. He does not dig it up every day to check on the roots, frantic that it's not happening fast enough. He does not pull on the tiny shoot to make it taller. If he did these things, he would kill the very life he hopes to foster. What does the gardener do? He prepares the soil. He plants the seed at the right depth. He provides water, and sunlight, and protection from harsh elements. He pulls the weeds that would choke it. And then, he steps back. He trusts. He has faith in the inherent intelligence of the seed, in the collaboration between earth, water, air, and life force. His work is essential, but it is not the work of making it grow. His work is to create the conditions for growth. The growing itself is a mystery, a miracle that happens on its own time, in its own way. You are both the gardener and the garden. Your intentions, your efforts, your disciplines, these are your gardening. They are important. Buddhism speaks of right effort. But right effort is not about forcing. It is about tending. It is about preparing the soil of your mind through mindfulness, watering it with compassion, weeding out the harmful thoughts of greed and aversion, and ensuring it gets the sunlight of wise understanding. The obsession with control is the gardener who cannot step back. It is the mind that hovers, worries, digs up the seed, and demands a timetable for the blossom. This anxiety doesn't help the flower, it poisons the soil. I learned this not from a scripture, but from a tomato plant. Many summers ago, I decided to grow vegetables. I was meticulous. I researched soil pH. I built a perfect raised bed. I planted my seedlings with care. And then I began to worry. Was it too sunny? Too shady? I watered on a strict schedule, whether the soil was dry or not. I poked and prodded the leaves, looking for pests. I fertilized aggressively, wanting bigger, faster fruit. The plant grew, but it looked sickly. The leaves were curled. It produced a few small, hard, bitter tomatoes. I was frustrated. I had controlled every variable, and I had failed. The next summer, I was busy. I hastily put some seeds in the ground and, due to other commitments, largely ignored them. I watered them only when I remembered, which was often when the soil was bone dry and the plants were wilting. I never fertilized. I didn't check for pests. To my astonishment, those neglected plants grew with a wild, vibrant abundance. They were sprawling and messy. But the tomatoes. They were prolific, sweet, and bursting with flavor. They grew not because of my control, but in spite of it. They grew because they had to reach deep for water, building strong roots. They grew because they weren't force-fed, but took only what they needed. They adapted to the actual conditions, not the conditions I thought they should have. My attempt at control had created a weak, dependent, bitter plant. My neglect, which was really a form of letting go, had created resilience and sweetness. It was a humbling lesson. My job was not to be the factory foreman of the tomato, but to be a respectful steward, providing minimal, appropriate care and then getting out of the way so life could do what life knows how to do. Where in your life are you trying to be a factory foreman when you need to learn to be a gardener? With your children? With your own creative projects? With your healing? With your spiritual growth? Prepare the soil. Plant the seed. Pull the weeds. Then, step back. Trust the intelligence of life within and around you. The blossom will come. Not on your schedule, but on its own. And it will be more beautiful for it. We spend so much of our lives trying to manage our reflection. We want to see a certain person in the mirror, successful, likable, wise, in control. We arrange our lives, our words, our social media feeds, all to create and maintain that pleasing image. When the mirror shows us something else, vulnerability, confusion, fear, failure, we panic. We rush to wipe it away, to correct the image. We explain, we justify, we hide, we blame. This is the ego's full-time job, to be the curator of the self-portrait. Control is its primary tool. It tries to control other people's opinions, the mirror they hold up to us. It tries to control circumstances, the lighting in the room. It tries to control our own feelings, the expression on the face in the glass. All to keep the portrait stable, flattering, and secure. But what if the problem is not the image in the mirror? What if the problem is our belief that we are the image? Buddhism teaches anatta, not self. This is often misunderstood. It does not mean you don't exist. It means you are not the fixed, solid, separate thing that you believe yourself to be. You are a process. A flowing river of sensations, perceptions, thoughts, and consciousness. The ego is the part of that process that grabs a snapshot of the river and says, This is me. This is who I am forever. It then spends all its energy defending that snapshot, that frozen image, against the relentless, beautiful flow of the river that you actually are. Trying to control life to protect this self-image is like trying to stop the wind to keep your hair perfectly in place. It's exhausting and ultimately futile. The wind will blow. The river will flow. The image will change. Imagine a beautiful, ancient mirror made of polished silver. Over time, dust settles on its surface. The dust is our attachments, our fears, our compulsive thoughts, our fixed ideas of who we are. The dust obscures the mirror's true nature, which is to reflect perfectly, clearly, without distortion. We see only the dust, the smudges of, I am a failure, I must be respected, I need to be safe, and we think the dust is the mirror. We think the distorted reflection is reality. Letting go is not about changing the reflection. It is about gently, patiently, wiping away the dust. The practice of mindfulness, of awareness, is the soft cloth. Each time you notice a clinging thought, this shouldn't be happening to me, and you simply observe it without buying into its story, you wipe away a speck of dust. Each time you feel the urge to control a situation to make yourself look good, and you pause instead, you wipe away another. You are not attacking the mirror. You are cleaning it. As the dust clears, something remarkable happens. You begin to see that the mirror itself is untouched by the reflections that pass across it. Joy appears, and fades. Sadness appears, and fades. Success, failure, praise, blame, all are just reflections, coming and going. The mirror holds them all, perfectly, without clinging to any of them. It remains clear, bright, and undisturbed. You are that mirror. Your awareness is that pristine, reflective capacity. The ego is the accumulated dust of a lifetime of clutching at reflections and calling them me. The pain comes from identifying with the dust, with the passing smudges of experience. I had a friend, a writer, who was paralyzed for years by the need to write a great novel. His identity was that of the great writer. This image was so precious, so heavy, that he could not write a single sentence. Every word was judged against the monumental portrait in his mind, and found wanting. The blank page was a mirror showing him he was not yet his ideal, and so he looked away. He controlled his life by not writing, by talking about writing, by researching, by perfecting his tools. All to preserve the potential of being a great writer, because the actual attempt risked smudging the portrait. One day, in a fit of what he called reckless abandon, he started a secret document. He told himself it was just notes, just garbage, not his real work. He gave himself permission to be bad, to be silly, to be trivial. With the portrait of the great writer temporarily taken off the wall, the dust cleared a little. He wrote. And he wrote. It was messy, uneven, and alive. That secret garbage didn't become a great novel, but it became a good, honest, published book. More importantly, it broke the spell. He saw that he was not the portrait. He was the one who could write, or not write. The portrait was just a picture, and his clinging to it had been the very thing preventing the art. When you stop trying to control the reflection, you meet the clarity of the mirror. And in that clarity, action becomes simple, clean, and free. We've spoken of the hand clenched in sand. Let's go deeper into the posture of the open palm. It is, perhaps, the most powerful and vulnerable gesture a human can make. A fist is a weapon. It is prepared to strike, to defend, to possess. It is turned inward, protecting its own center. An open palm is an offer. It can give. It can receive. It can touch gently. It can feel. It is turned outward, connected. A fist cannot feel the breeze. An open palm can. Buddhist teachings often speak of dana, generosity. True generosity is the open palm in action. It is not a transaction. It is not, I give this so that you will like me, or so that I will be seen as good, or so that karma will reward me. That is just another form of clutching, of control disguised as virtue. True generosity is the simple, uncalculated release of something from your hand into the world, with no strings attached. It is an act of faith. Faith that the universe is abundant. Faith that letting go does not diminish you, but expands you. The need to control is rooted in a sense of scarcity. There is not enough time, love, money, security, recognition. So we clutch what we have. We strategize to get more. We build walls around our little pile. This mentality of scarcity makes the world a frightening, competitive place. Everyone is a potential thief of your limited resources. Letting go is rooted in a sense of sufficiency, of trust. It is the understanding that your essential well-being, your capacity for peace, for love, for awareness, is not dependent on external things. It is inherent. Like the sky, it can be covered by clouds of worry and fear, but it is never damaged, never diminished. When you touch that inner sufficiency, the compulsion to control the externals relaxes. You can open your palm. You can open your palm with your time, and truly listen to someone without mentally rehearsing your reply. You can open your palm with your possessions, giving freely not from a sense of guilt, but from a sense of overflow. You can open your palm with your expectations, allowing people and situations to be what they are, not what you demand them to be. This is not foolishness. It is the deepest kind of intelligence. The clenched fist is exhausting itself, guarding a tiny kingdom. The open palm is in communion with a vast universe. Which is truly stronger? I witnessed this in the most unlikely place, a busy city bus. It was packed, hot, and tense. A woman got on with two young, tired, cranky children. She was juggling bags, looking near tears. The air in the bus was thick with everyone's private misery and impatience. No one made eye contact. Then, an elderly man stood up and offered her his seat. It was a simple act. But the way he did it, there was no martyrdom in it. No, look how noble I am. He just stood, caught her eye, and gestured with an open palm toward the empty seat. A small, quiet smile. He then stood holding a pole, looking out the window, utterly at peace. The energy in that bus shifted. It was subtle, but palpable. The mother, relieved, settled her children. Someone else shifted a bag to make more room. The harsh edges of the collective mood seemed to soften. The man's open palm generosity, of his seat, of his comfort, created a tiny ripple of space and humanity in that crowded, frantic container. He controlled nothing. He didn't control the bus schedule, the crying children, or the other passengers' moods. He simply offered what he had, freely, and in doing so, he changed the entire atmosphere. His was the strength of the river, not the rock. The strength of the open palm, not the fist. We carry a silent companion with us everywhere. For most of our lives, we mistake this companion for ourselves. It is the voice in our head. The commentator. The judge. The worrier. The planner. It is constantly narrating, evaluating, and, most of all, trying to manage. Did I say the right thing? What will they think? I need to make sure that project goes perfectly. What if I get sick? This shouldn't be so hard. This voice believes its job is to control the movie of your life, the script, the actors, the lighting, the reviews. It is the ultimate micromanager. And we obey it. We believe its urgent reports. We follow its anxious instructions. We think this voice is our protector, our guide. But more often, it is our jailer. It keeps us trapped in a story about the past that cannot be changed and a future that does not exist. It pulls us out of the only place where life is actually happening, this present moment. Buddhism invites you to do something radical, to stop obeying the voice, and start observing it. This is mindfulness. You are not trying to shut the voice up. That would be just another act of control. You are simply changing your relationship to it. You are stepping back and realizing, that is a thought. It is not a command. It is not reality. It is a mental event, arising and passing away, like a cloud in the sky of my awareness. When you observe the controlling voice instead of being it, a space opens up. In that space, you have a choice. The voice screams, catastrophe. You must fix this now. And from the quiet place of awareness, you can respond, thank you for the alert. I will assess the situation calmly. The voice is the panicked advisor. You are the king. You are no longer the servant of your own frantic thoughts. This turns the silent companion from a tyrant into just a companion. A sometimes helpful, often neurotic, but ultimately harmless companion chattering in the passenger seat. You, as awareness, are the driver. You can listen politely, but you don't have to let it grab the wheel. I learned to drive with a very nervous parent in the passenger seat. They would gasp at every intersection, stomp an imaginary brake, clutch the dashboard. If I had believed their panic was the truth of the situation, would have frozen, convinced I was a terrible driver about to cause disaster. But I learned to hear their gasps as their anxiety, not as an accurate assessment of my driving. I would acknowledge it. I see that car, I'm slowing down, but I kept my eyes on the road and my hands steady on the wheel. I was in control precisely because I was not controlled by their panic. Your mind is that nervous passenger. Its gasps and warnings feel real, but they are just conditioned reactions, old fears playing on a loop. Letting go means taking its advice under advisement, but making your decisions from the calm, clear, present moment awareness that is your true nature as the driver. We often believe that to let go is to become dark, to diminish our light, to stop caring. Nothing could be further from the truth. Letting go is what allows your true light to burn steadily, without being blown out by every passing wind of circumstance. Imagine a candle flame in a storm. If you clutch the candle, trying to shield it with your cupped hands, you will smother it. The flame needs space, needs air. Your tight protection is what kills it. Alternatively, if you leave it completely exposed, a strong gust will extinguish it. The wise approach is to place the candle in a lantern. The lantern has glass sides. It protects the flame from the direct, chaotic force of the wind, but it allows air to flow. It gives the flame a space to burn, clear and bright, regardless of the weather outside. Your heart, your passion, your love, your creativity, these are your flame. Your attempts at absolute control are the cupped hands, smothering and fearful. A complete lack of boundaries is exposure to chaos. Letting go is not abandoning the flame. It is finding the lantern. The lantern is the space of mindful awareness, of wise boundaries, of compassionate discernment. The lantern does not try to control the storm. It simply creates a clear, firm space within which the flame can do what it does naturally, give light. Your true nature is that light. Control is the story that you are the storm, or that you must fight the storm. Letting go is the realization that you are the flame, and you can find, or become, the lantern. I think of a teacher I had, a man of immense compassion who worked with people in great pain. He listened to stories of trauma, loss, and injustice every day. If he had clutched each story, made it his own, taken on the burden of fixing every person's life, he would have burned out in a month. His flame would have been extinguished by the sheer weight of the suffering he witnessed. But he had built a lantern. He listened with absolute, undivided attention. He was fully present. That was his glass wall, clear, strong, allowing connection but maintaining a boundary. When the session ended, he had a ritual. He would stand, walk to a window, look at the sky, and take 3 deep breaths. He was symbolically, and actually, releasing the story. He was letting it go from his personal custody, back into the vastness of life. He cared deeply, but he did not cling. His flame of compassion burned for decades, lighting the way for countless others, precisely because he knew how to tend it within the lantern of his own practice. He did not try to control the suffering of the world. He offered a steady light in its presence. We are map makers. From the moment we are born, we begin drawing maps of how the world works. Crying brings comfort. Studying brings approval. Hard work brings success. Love brings happiness. These maps are necessary. They help us navigate. But the territory of life itself is wild, uncharted, and constantly changing. Rivers change course. Mountains erode. New paths appear. Our problem is that we fall in love with our maps. We believe the map is the territory. And when life, the actual territory, doesn't match our map, we don't question the map. We get angry at the territory. We try to force the land to conform to our drawing. This is control. My map says there should be a bridge here, you shout, standing at the edge of a raging river. And instead of looking for a ford, or building a boat, or accepting that you need to take a different route, you exhaust yourself trying to will a bridge into existence. You suffer because the river refuses to respect your map. Buddhism encourages us to hold our maps lightly. To use them as helpful guides, but to always be willing to put them down and look with fresh eyes at the actual landscape in front of us. This is humility. This is wisdom. Letting go is putting the map in your pocket and beginning to truly see the trees, the sky, the feel of the earth under your feet. The territory of this present moment is the only thing that is real. The map is just a story about the past, projected onto the future. Clinging to control is clinging to the map. Freedom is walking the land. A couple I knew had a beautiful, detailed map for their marriage. It had milestones, a house by year 3, children by year 5, certain vacations, certain ways of spending holidays. For a while, the territory seemed to match the map. Then, infertility entered the picture. It was a canyon, deep and uncrossable, that was not on their map at all. They spent years in agony, trying every medical and emotional strategy to force a bridge across that canyon. They were trying to make the territory obey the map. Their marriage became a grim engineering project, full of schedules, procedures, and despair. The love, the connection, the shared joy, the very terrain of their relationship, was ignored in a frantic effort to fix the map. It was only when they were utterly exhausted, heartbroken, and on the verge of separating that they finally put the map down. They stopped. They looked at the actual territory of their life together. They saw the canyon of childlessness, yes. But for the first time in years, they also saw each other. They saw the friendship that had been buried under the project. They saw the shared values that had nothing to do with parenthood. They saw a different path, one that wasn't on their original map, a path of adoption, of deepening their spiritual life together, of dedicating themselves to a cause. It wasn't the path they had planned, but it was a true path, one that honored the actual landscape of their lives and their hearts. By letting go of the map, they saved their marriage and found a deeper, more authentic happiness. The canyon didn't go away, but it became part of the view, not an obstacle to be destroyed. Look at a tree in deep winter. Its branches are bare, stark against the gray sky. It holds nothing. It clutches nothing. It has let go of every single leaf. To the untrained eye, it might look dead, bereft, defeated. But the tree is not dead. It is in a state of profound wisdom. It has released what it no longer needs, what can no longer serve it in the cold season. By letting go of the leaves, it conserves its life force. It sheds vulnerability to the storm. Its energy retreats inward, to the roots, to the core. It is resting, gathering strength, in a deep, silent trust. It knows, in its very sap, that spring will come. The buds will form. The leaves will unfurl. Not because the tree forces them, but because it is its nature. The letting go in autumn is what makes the new growth in spring possible. If it clung desperately to the dead leaves of last year, the new buds would have no space, no light, no energy to emerge. We are afraid of our winters. The winters of failure, of loss, of silence, of not knowing. We see them as enemies. So we try to control our way into perpetual summer. We paste on artificial leaves of busyness, achievement, and distraction. We refuse to let anything fall away. And we wonder why we feel so exhausted, so brittle, so devoid of real, juicy, vibrant life. Letting go is allowing the winter. It is the courage to be the bare tree. To release the roles that no longer fit you. To shed the ambitions that were someone else's dream. To drop the grudges that are poisoning your soil. To sit in the quiet, empty space of not knowing what comes next. This is not depression. This is sacred dormancy. This is where the deep work happens. When you stop clutching the old leaves, your energy, your life force, retreats to your roots. You reconnect with what is essential. You remember who you are when you are not decorated with achievements or defined by relationships. You touch your core strength, which is not about what you produce, but about your capacity to be. And from that place of deep rest and trust, spring will come. New ideas will bud. New directions will unfurl. New love will grow. Not because you manufactured them, but because it is the nature of life to cycle, to renew, to begin again. Your willingness to let go of the old is what makes room for the new. The bare tree is not weak. It is patient. It is resilient. It is in harmony with the great, turning wheel of life. I went through such a winter. A period where everything I thought defined me was stripped away. My work felt meaningless. Key relationships changed or ended. I felt like that bare tree, exposed and empty. My every instinct was to panic, to scramble, to find new leaves to paste on immediately. But something in me was too tired for that. So, for once, I didn't. I just stopped. I let the leaves fall. I sat in the emptiness. It was terrifying, and then, gradually, it was peaceful. In that stillness, with nothing to defend or promote, I began to hear a voice I had drowned out for years. It wasn't the frantic voice of the manager. It was a quieter, kinder, deeper voice. It was the voice of my roots. It reminded me of simple joys I had forgotten. It pointed toward small, true directions that had no glory in them, but felt right. That winter of letting go lasted almost a year. And when the internal spring finally came, the growth was different. It wasn't the showy, forceful growth of ambition. It was gentle, green, and real. It led me here, to this work, to this moment with you. The winter didn't destroy me. It prepared me. This has been a long exploration, a gentle unraveling of a knot we have spent a lifetime tying. We have walked through the architecture of anxiety and found it built on sand. We have imagined ourselves as the river, not the rock. We have opened our palms and felt the sand rest there, at peace. We have learned to be gardeners, not factory foremen. We have wiped the dust from the mirror and seen our true, reflectionless nature. We have practiced the wisdom of the open palm. We have made friends with the chattering passenger in our mind. We have placed our flame in the lantern. We have put our maps away and learned to walk the land. We have allowed ourselves to be the bare, wise tree in winter. This is not a one-time lesson. Letting go is an art. It is the art of unclenching. And like any art, it is practiced daily, in 1,000 small moments. It is practiced when you're stuck in traffic and you feel the rage build, and you choose to take a deep breath and listen to the radio instead of fighting against reality. It is practiced when someone criticizes you and the old urge to defend or explain rises up, and you simply say, "Thank you for your perspective," and let it be. It is practiced when you've worked hard on a project and you send it out into the world, and you feel the anxiety for its reception, and you consciously release it, whispering, "My job is done." It is practiced when you are worrying about tomorrow as you lie in bed tonight, and you gently bring your attention back to the feel of the pillow, the sound of your breath, this single, safe moment. Each time you choose the softer response over the rigid one, the open palm over the fist, the breath over the panic, you are practicing the art. You are weakening the habit of clinging and strengthening the muscle of release. You will forget. The fist will clench again. The old maps will be pulled out. The passenger will grab the wheel. This is not failure. This is part of the practice. The moment you notice you are clinging again, that noticing is the miracle. That is the lantern being lit in the storm. In that noticing, you are already beginning to let go. Buddhism does not offer you a life without waves. It offers you the ability to surf. It does not promise a world without loss. It promises a heart that cannot be shattered by loss, because it has stopped confusing itself with the things it holds. It does not give you control over the wind. It teaches you how to set your sail. The peace you have been seeking has never been in the future you are trying to control. It is in the present you are learning to meet. It is here, now, in the space between your thoughts, in the softening of your belly after a deep breath, in the simple acceptance of what is. You have spent a long time holding on. You are allowed to rest now. You are allowed to let life carry you for a while. You are not abandoning your post. You are coming home to your true nature, which is vast, aware, and unshakably calm beneath the changing weather of experience. So tonight, as you drift towards sleep, or as you move into your day, carry one simple question with you: what am I clutching right now that I could gently, kindly, release? It might be a thought, a worry, an old story, a tension in your jaw or your shoulders. Feel it. Acknowledge it. Thank it for its service. And then, like the tree releasing a leaf, like the river flowing around a stone, like the open palm letting the breeze pass through, let it go. Welcome home. Thank you for being here at Monk's Temple.